What's happening, Mo? It's like, nah. What's poppin', y'all? You're listening to Sporting Convos with Eddie and Mike. It's me, Mike, and I'm here with my guy.
Eddie, greetings, salutations.
That's all you are. No Commander Eddie this week.
We're going to go ahead and pretty much go with the fact that it is a parent, much like my dad jokes. Yeah, they know. They know. I don't need to tell people. A lion doesn't tell people, "Hey, yo, I'm a lion," just in case you didn't know. No, people know.
We're just gonna jump right into it. We're not even gonna do a show right now.
Cannonball.
Well, I guess I
I
can do it.
already said
We're gonna talk about last week's game, preview Monday Night Football versus the Bengals, and then do a week 3 game by game prediction. And coincidentally, this week Washington is the last game, so that's
But the
good.
best for last. It's just science.
And I don't have to force myself to not pick us, or you know what I mean. But anyway, um, so I didn't watch the game live last week like most of y'all did, and it'll probably be like that for the foreseeable future. I joined a new church. Their service starts at 2 o'clock, so it's kind of wild. But I'll be able to see most of the um, fourth quarter after the service, so that's cool. But I say all that because I I don't have a feel for how the game went because I had to watch it bit by bit, and I still haven't finished. Well, I didn't watch the record all the way through. You know what I'm saying? And so I know what happened. I know when it happened or whatever. But it's just something about watching the game as it's happening that gives me a better feel for what's happening
Oh yeah,
or
the
what had happened.
emotion, it's live, you kinda, like, don't I'm sure despite as much as you probably attempted to go in "fresh," quote, unquote, there's no way you couldn't have, like, known, especially, like, the outcome, but then more so, like, certain things that were gonna happen eventually, so now you're watching out for them. Whereas you're watching live, I mean, the obvious is you don't know what's gonna happen, but then the second there's a certain emotion and sort of momentum swinging, and you kind of get a feel for those things when you're focused and watching the game. And I can tell you, it seemed like we were gonna like lose probably one of the worst hard to watch type games to the Giants in the first half. Like Daniels was making some plays here and there, but it was mostly screen passes and him running as though he's Cam Newton or Jared Allen, but he's nowhere near as big as those guys. And I think honestly, in a way, that hit that he took, I mean, granted, like, hey, hats off to him. I know we got him knowing he's going to be the running quarterback too, by the way. Not like we got him like, hey, you can't run like we want him to. It's just pick your spots. And like I said, you can't run like a fullback. But that hit, which he got the first down, I'm sure his teammates were hyped about. But I think in a way, it kind of like started sort of the swing that really occurred in the second half, where he started like looking more to make plays with his legs to help him throw, as opposed to like I'm just tucking it and running it. They had a good setup screen to Eckler. I mean, I think everybody talks about the Ertz play where in a way, a younger Ertz would have gone up and got that, would have maybe more run to the ball. But excuse me, Daniels did float it just a bit, but still, Ertz made a big
I
time.
mean, but on that play, I that's one of the few plays I actually saw live. So I was kind of like in the moment when I saw this play.
I like that he took a chance.
Two things: he got hit when he threw the ball.
That's true
I
too.
don't
That's
understand why everybody's not making a bigger deal out of that. He got hit.
yeah,
And
you're right.
secondly,
You're right.
Secondly, like it's crazy. Nobody's talking. I mean, people mention it, but it's like an afterthought. And I'm like, bro, I saw that when it happened. He got hit. I thought he was going to get sacked. I'm surprised he got the ball off. But the second thing, how the hell is Zach Ertz going to rip an interception out of somebody's hand that was swatting a pass that he was catching?
Uh,
Like the defender
you'd
was
have to ask
swatting
him.
the ball.
You'd have to ask him.
No, the defender never had possession until they hit the ground.
Yeah,
And people making it seem like Ertz ripped it after they put the ground. No, Ertz had it the whole time. The defender is the one that tried to muscle Ertz when they hit the ground. But as you know, the tie goes to the offensive player anyway. But I don't know. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I was just
fun.
perplexed by the reactions to that play when I clearly saw it at church, by the way. I'm like, why is everybody missing these two obvious things? But
Well,
I don't digress. I give the floor back to you.
yeah, it's like I texted you, man. The second half adjustments by pretty much everybody. I mean, there's still some plays here and there I disagree with, but I understand maybe those could be like decoy or just like set up for like down the line, like, hey, we ran this play and we didn't really get anything out of it, but then here's like a little play action, little reverse type wrinkle or something. Anyway, the adjustments were great to see. I really thought that you saw a lot of different guys making plays. Noah Brown stepping up, made some huge catches. Your boy St. Juice just coming through at the right time, probably the best DB of the game.
I
That
told
play where
y'all.
he got the tip was just everything because I feel like he was maybe trying to bait Daniel Jones, but then maybe got like caught up in his own little thing there because there was some space. Dude was behind him, and again I think maybe he didn't mean for the gap to be that big, but he closed it down and was able to not only catch up, but to turn around, swat the ball away at a very key moment. And then I feel so embarrassed. I can't think of his name. Was it Seabrook, Seabrighton, whatever, our kicker? Obviously the MVP.
Austin Siebert, I think.
Seabrook.
I knew it. You didn't mess me up. I think it's Siebert.
Yeah, what was he? 6 for 6,
7 for 7,
seven
bro.
for seven. Special teams player of the week. Shout out to
Had to
that
be.
guy. I don't know. I mean, why didn't we go get him in the first place? I mean, I'll be honest. I think it was the first kickoff and then the first extra point. I was like, okay, I think this guy's at least good enough till next week. And then with every kick, I was like, okay, okay. So now I kind of feel like that dude really I hate saying this because he, working out of middle school, but the give me my money at TikTok,
Oh goodness.
that's what he needs to be doing right now. That he's like, hey, give me my money,
Do it.
because I mean, sure, without Jaden Daniels, like, yeah, but we didn't score any touchdowns. You saw what happened.
Yeah, okay, that's a great point. For me to jump back in real quick.
The false
Um,
starts were insane.
yeah, that's what I'm glad I wasn't. That's like one reason I'm glad I didn't see the game. To go to the red zone that many times and have a false start on damn near every possession is crazy. From the 3 yard line, you doing false starts from the 3 yard line, bro? That's money zone right there. That's not red zone. That is money zone. You
And it was
can't
like
be
people
doing
were
that.
taking turns, dude. Like so
Right.
many
That's what I was about to say.
linemen, you name it.
That's what I
Just
was about to say. It wasn't just one person.
money.
Everybody had their turn.
Exactly.
But having said that, it's like, okay, if we're the only ones that can stop us from scoring touchdowns, then I guess we're in good shape. I guess.
Well, I think in a way, getting those sort of ugly, grinded out wins, like there's always some sort of lesson to be learned, and obviously a ton of adjustments to be made. But then it's progression. I think it's Grant Paulson. He says, stacking pennies. I think he more equivalates that to like check down passing. Like their completions, and then they can, those yards add up, et cetera. And then you never know, some run after catch. Um, and also just the idea of like warming up. I mean, I guess you could, baseball with pitching, you start off throwing kind of close, you start to get further away and kind of warm your arm up, or like basketball, Steph Curry says he gets, fairly close inside the free throw line, starts shooting one-handed and then slowly starts backing it up, and all of a sudden, he's in like somebody's backyard, like a state or two away, training threes. Um, so that could have something to do with it as well. Uh, yeah, I mean that like the stacking pennies that is. So that's the way I look at it. Like this win, that was a stacking penny. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't pretty. Certainly you could say, hey, Malik Neighbors makes that catch instead of it dropping off of him, going out of bounds.
I think
But then you could
if
argue
they,
if we scored a touchdown here or there if we didn't get that penalty
yeah,
on the opening kickoff, by the way. Good.
I
Yeah.
think, I think this what happens. They get the 4th and 4. They go down. They go for it on 4th down. They don't get the touchdown. We get the ball with like 50 seconds left for one timeout. We still kick the field goal and win the game, even if they get the fourth. Like I said, I didn't watch it live, but I watched it enough to know we were winning that game that day, regardless of if they got it on 4th and 4 or not. We were just a better team that day. Like, deal with it.
Yeah. Yeah. I really would love this is a little random. I would love if we continue to do that sort of just like basic wide receiver screen, if maybe we run like a little wrinkle where we fake the screen and one of the blockers kind of starts to drift out up the sideline, kind of little wheel route style, something like that. I'd like to see that just, little razzle dazzle. Daniels has the arm, the deep accuracy. So I'd like to see maybe something like that. I'll tell you what I liked, and it's not because it resulted in Neighbors going to get checked for concussion, but early on the game, this Joker gets a little drag route from starting from the left, going across the field, obviously to the right, and he frees himself because, and hey, good on him. I'm not, he ran a good route, but I can't remember the DB that was covering him, but they ran into Bobby Wagner, and that slide. I mean, it wasn't even like a full collision. It was like they nudged each other, kind of thing, moving in opposite directions, and it slowed the DB down to get Neighbors open, makes the catch, and then has a really nice run after the catch. Frankie Louvu chases this Joker down like maybe some 15 to like 20 yards down the field, and by the time he gets there, he's trying to, fake and shut other tackles. So he's slowed down a little bit. He makes a move going back into the center of the field, and Luvu rocks him. And it was just so refreshing to see. One, I didn't know it was Luvu at first, but just seeing somebody just put a hat, just boom, lay the wood, pause. You know what I mean? Just out there hitting, remind me of Sean Taylor. And then you find out it's Luvu, and you're like, wait, that guy like hauled ass across the field to make that play, hungry. I love it. Saw some vintage Bobby Wagner here and there, getting some backfield tackle for losses. So I thought there was a lot of good stuff to see. A lot of people were wondering where Jamin Davis was, and we didn't really get a lot of penetration, a lot of sacks. Um, and that kind of brings me up to the next thing. I don't know if you got anything else to say, but Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne, Terry McLaurin,
Well,
just
did you know that Davis was inactive?
yeah, I did. I mean, like as
Okay.
the game went on, I didn't know that to begin with,
Oh,
but
yeah.
I mean, I guess a lot of it is they're saying they want to just rotate guys. I guess we got enough that somebody might be inactive each week, kind of thing. I mean, I nothing's come out that this is any kind of disciplinary or he missed practice or any kind of issues of that nature. So, but at the same time, I think it's also a typical us thing to do, and by us I mean the fans and everybody. You know, as much as I love Jamin Davis and this idea that he's gonna sort of not transform, but kind of he's gonna mold himself a little bit to fit what we need and what also benefits him. Um, I don't know that he was gonna change the whole dynamic of the game and we would have run away with it if he was in either. But that's just what we do. We found something to be like, oh, he wasn't in, and see, he should have been in. I I don't know why he wasn't, but we won, and that's kind of where I want to maintain the focus. But like I was getting at, Terry, Jonathan Allen, and Deron Payne, it just seems like you were hoping these guys were going to start like a real like all pro, like they were going to shine this year, and maybe they still can. Starting off slow, Terry has gotten open, and we just haven't hit him. I think on a couple of those runs last weekend, he definitely was open. We had to play week one where Daniels just couldn't get him the ball, overthrew him quite a bit. So it's not that he's not there. Something hasn't clicked yet. Obviously, we're still working on our O line, but then on the other side of the ball, like Allen and Payne did kind of do some disruption that's gotten Celine Farrell his 2 sacks, one each game. But overall, like I said, maybe I was expecting more. Maybe I need to pump my brakes. But I've said a ton. Mike, what are your thoughts on all that?
Um, I mean, like you said, the good news is that we won.
Yep.
We know that the team is still like going to be growing and well going through growing pains, and that Daniels is a rookie. His first year with the head coach, first year with the new GM. Like I'm probably gonna say the same thing every single week. Like just be patient, I guess, until maybe the playoff race starts in November or whatever. If we're still in it, maybe we'll start talking about actual football and not being optimistic or whatever. But for right now, for week two, I can't complain too much about the game. Players made plays. Some players got cooked. I will say, what's the dude name? Michael Davis or Malcolm Davis or whoever the cornerback
It's
is we
Michael.
signed. Yeah, dude is trash. I don't know why they went after him. Like I think he was like a day one or day two free agent signing, and like, nah, he
Man,
ain't it. They really should have went after Stephon Gilmore. He was sitting out there for a couple of months before he signed with the Vikings. So I don't know, but like I said, for the first two games, we're on schedule.
all right. I can ride with it. I
Now,
mean, Terry's always vouching for Daniels. So, and like you said, the growing pains are going to be there, but then that also would mean, we're working towards progress. So, a la the uh, Aaron Rodgers, who's playing right now, we need to relax. RELAX. Relax.
yeah, and especially about the defense, like it's just clear that they won't be finishing above 16 this season. But they did have a better week than last week. I told y'all about St. Juice. Told y'all he'll bounce back. Um, and yeah, we just know that next year in the off season, we're going to be going heavy at wide receiver and cornerback. And for real, we keep losing. We might be able to draft a player that could play both positions, both of those positions.
Uh-oh.
I doubt he'll do it in the NFL, but that's a topic for March.
You're talking about a certain Colorado player,
A
perhaps?
certain, I thought you was going to say a certain hunter,
That too?
but
That too?
yeah, but um, it was a good game. I would say out of a five, how much I enjoyed it or would have enjoyed it if I watched it from start to finish. Probably about a 2.75.
Okay. Okay.
But we'll move on to the next game. We are traveling to Cincinnati, who I heard when it comes to NFL fans, the Bengals are the Eagles of the Midwest. So if y'all
Cool.
traveling to Cincy, be careful, I guess. Um, but nevertheless, it's the Redskins versus Bengals, kind of like like it feels like an old school matchup, like an '80s matchup or whatever. Even though we played each decade since then, it still feels like an '80s matchup. Of course, a lot of people remember. Was it the last time we played the Bengals? No, it was the time before the last time we played the Bengals in 2018. No,
You talking about when we
2016.
tied?
Yes, in London.
That was in London, yeah. I believe that
Yeah.
was the last time we played them.
Nah, we played them twice since then. We played them, well, not twice. We played them once and beat them. That was the game where Chase
Oh,
Young
Joe
knocked out,
Burrow. Yeah, you're right.
yeah,
Right.
knocked out Burrow. And before that, he knocked Burrow out at the goal line. And yeah, that was a crazy play. I'm sure y'all remember. But yeah, so I don't know, bro. I wasn't feeling this game at first, but I'm gonna start off with this nugget that I saw or discovered when I was looking at the stats. The Bengals, they are a top 10 defense in the league right now. They're ranked second against the pass. Guess what they're ranked versus the run?
Like next to last.
Nah, close to it. They are in the bottom third. They're 26 or 25th versus the run. And that obviously works into Washington's favor like a mug, bro. Like, I thought that this game could be a slaughter, but if the Bengals can't stop the run, it makes things a bit more interesting, in my opinion. And Washington can do what they did the last time they played on Monday Night Football when they beat the Eagles and just muddy the game up and make it ugly, and that favors them.
See, I think the approach is probably going to be similar, but I don't see it being muddied up. And no disrespect to Cincinnati, I think they're going to play us tough. They got some good players over there. I'll
They
be
do.
honest with you, I can't name everybody. I know they got a guy Hendricks who was actually really solid for New Orleans. They signed him a couple of years ago. That guy plays tough, and I know that's just one guy, but they got a lot of other guys there. Not
Oh,
flashiest of names, but guys are going to play you tough. I know they do. Go ahead.
they got their secondary is like lit. They got Geno Stone from the Ravens. They got Alabama. He caught an interception last week. Cam, well, I don't know if it's Cam Taylor or something. It's Taylor Parker. I don't know. I can't think of it right. Actually, I can tell y'all in a couple of seconds. I actually
Well,
have notes on their defense for Commanders, the classified
Mike came
article I'm working on.
prepared.
Huh?
I said Mike came prepared.
No.
Got receipts.
um,
Got receipts.
but yeah, they they're like I said, the secondary is lit. They are running low. Well, not running low. They are struggling on the defensive line health wise, which kind of favors the Commanders again if they could run the ball. Like I feel like things are kind of lining up for Washington to shock the world on a Sunday. I guess that's
See
what I'm
that
trying to say.
that's where I was going. I,
Or
I know
Monday night.
yeah, I know they're gonna play us tough, but I think if we have some early success with the run with B Rob and even with Eckler, now all of a sudden we're maybe doing some read option and Daniels is keeping and he's probably going to break one open. Now we've got him kind of hopefully on the ropes and we might do one of those screens to Eckler that we had good amount of success with, to be honest. Um, yeah, I can see things like that playing out. Now on the flip side, which I is why I stayed away from him in fantasy football. I like him. I think he's a good player, and it sucks, but I don't know what's up with Joe Burrow, so I don't know what to expect. If I were our secondary, I would expect to see the healthiest Joe Burrow, just so that if we don't, we're maybe overly prepared, if that's such a thing in the NFL. Uh, I'm not sure what the deal is with T. Higgins, whether he's playing or not. I think he might be trying to make it this week. I mean, go figure. You want to play against the Washington secondary. You got to really hope that this is a game where we can maybe come out, take some early control, and kind of dictate, like you said. I don't want to say muddy, but just control the ball by running and having success. We have two solid running backs, and again, I think our line is better suited for run blocking than pass blocking at the moment, at least. Uh, so if we can do that, hopefully it can make things a little easier for our defense. Because I'm not trying to see, you know, a Jamar Chase bounce back game. You know what I mean? Or a T Higgins, welcome,
Oh,
start
they're
this.
cooking us. I hate to burst your bubble, but have you seen anything so far this season that makes you think that they're not going to cook us?
Well, I think we also thought that the Bengals were going to cook
Come
up
here, boy.
on the Patriots, and the Patriots have shocked everybody. You know what I mean? Playing as well as they have the first two games. So, I don't know. You tell me.
Yeah, I see my boy. Say what's up to everybody, boy. My boy. I couldn't trust the secondary to cover to watch my boy. You know why?
And I hear you, but still,
No, listen to me. I could not trust this secondary, this defense to watch my boy. You know why?
why?
Because they have a hard time handling dogs.
Yeah.
They can't handle dogs. Thanks, boy. Good boy. They can't handle dogs.
So, what
Name
happened the
them.
first 2 weeks with Jamar Chase?
Did the Commanders play them?
No,
I'm
but
not talking
I'm
about the
telling you,
Patriots
he's
and
supposed to be
Chiefs.
walking on water. T.
I'm
Higgins
not,
hasn't played yet, right?
bruh. I'm not talking about the Patriots or Chiefs defense. I'm talking about the defense that every time they run into a dog, they let them loose. That's why they can't watch my boy. Because they're gonna let the dog loose. And you can't you so you telling me that you seen something this year that makes you think that they can stop Chase or Higgins if he plays. If he even plays, he might not even play. But you tell me, hell, even the secondary receivers catching touchdowns. Robinson caught a touchdown on Sunday. The Bucks rookie caught a touchdown on week 1. Like the Bengals are scoring points. That's why I said the game is going to have to be ugly in
Okay,
order for Washington to have a more realistic chance.
okay,
And I
man.
ain't even saying they're going to win. Just saying, like, there is an avenue. The avenue is opening.
We'll see.
But
We shall see.
I don't know. Like, I hope they shut him now, or I hope his trend continues. But I don't know, bro. St. Juice versus Chase just doesn't ruffle my jimmies.
Yeah, definitely does.
What?
What you said, saying
Oh,
it's scary.
it's
I'm just
scary.
thinking of like the scenario where we kind of, like I said, dictate pace and stuff like that. So
I
because they
think that, bro. I
pressure,
really think
they're at home, I get that, but we come out, make a big play or two, smack them in the mouth. All of a sudden, things are different. They're maybe pressing a little bit. The panic sets in.
what we what they can't allow us to do is get a double digit or like a 10-point lead. Like if we score a touchdown, they punt or something. We kick a field goal, they punt again,
Yep.
or miss a field goal, or turn the ball over. That's dangerous for them because then you not only give Washington pretty much their entire playbook to work with, but you're limiting yourself on offense by now strictly passing the ball. And don't get me wrong, the defense is suspect, but it'll help tremendously if they know that 80% of the time that they're about to face a pass. Know what I'm saying, bro?
Oh yeah. No, definitely agree. Um, like you said, we get that double digit lead, and I think we just all of a sudden, if I would imagine we're getting it, with success on the ground, and we just kind of all of a sudden start to take our time a little bit lining up, but continue with the same like sort of aggressive ground and pound approach. And next thing you know, time starts adding up. Same way I was talking about stacking the pennies. You start, seconds turn into minutes, and you extend the drive. Their offense is sitting over there getting cold. Your defense is, maybe hydrating, starting to, formulate a plan, making sure they're loose and they're ready. And before you know it, you're down the field, maybe about to get another field goal, get some more points. And yeah, ate up like a good 5 to 8 minutes. Yeah, that would be perfection if we could make something like that happen. Go into Cincinnati, which, by the way, ain't that place called the Queen City? I should have looked this up before I came on here saying that. But didn't I? I swear to
That's
God, I remember.
Charlotte, I think. Charlotte is called the Queen City.
Hold
I'm
on.
not sure what nickname Cincinnati has. Oh, it is the Queen City, I guess. I guess we got two Queen Cities in America. The Queen
The Queen
the
City,
Queen
yeah.
of the Queen of the West.
The nickname comes from an 1819 newspaper article and was made famous by Henry Wadsworth Longfellows. What kind of is that? It's like some sort of
Yo.
Catawba wine. Catawba? I don't know if
But
that's
it's funny. There is an article that says
Blue Chip City.
Charlotte versus Cincinnati, which is real Queen City. I gotta read that later. That's wild. But
Well, seems like Cincinnati is wanting to have like a rack of different nicknames. I don't know if it's like an identity crisis, but I'm seeing here it says the Blue Chip City, the City of Seven Hills,
you know cities
Porkopolis,
have multiple names. DC got like a
Porkopolis.
thousand names. You got the nation's capital, Chocolate City, Murder Capital. What else? Capitol Hill. Well, that's just a section in the city, I guess. But anyway, we tripping right now. Before we go to week three, before we go to week three, two things. I'm not sure if they clinched the playoff spot or not, but I do know the Mystics won over the Fever tonight by 1 point. Oh, I know. I remember the scenario. The scenario was that Atlanta had to lose and the Mystics had to win. And Atlanta did not lose. They won by 11. So the Mystics will not be in the postseason. But they did end the year handing Caitlin Clark a loss. Some people might like that. Some people like it more. I'm just glad their season's over. And hopefully they can get lucky and get one of these top four picks in the WNBA draft, which they probably won't because for some reason they decided to start winning. So Cage Beckers will not be coming to the DMV, unfortunately. She's probably going to LA. They're gonna rig the lottery like they always do. I remember the Wizards, I mean the Mystics had a chance to draft. I forgot who was the first pick.
Wimby?
Nah, it was the Mystics.
Oh, the Mystics.
I forgot. It was one of the current beasts, like maybe
And it's a
um
Rossi.
nah, not that long ago. It was within like the last 8 years or so. But
And what
whoever it was,
what's homegirl's name? Why can't I think of her name right now? The girl that was in Russia. Brittany Griner.
no, it wasn't Griner. Griner had already been in the league.
Was it Elena
Man,
Deladon who eventually came
nah, it wasn't her
away?
either. I forgot who it was, but I just remember being livid after the lottery and was like they cheated. I really wish I could remember who it was. But nevertheless, hopefully, because Michael Winger, he's over the entire Monumental Sports organization, so he runs the Mystics too. So hopefully he can rebuild both franchises at the same time, and we could have a DMV dual parade one day or something. If the Mystics and Wizards um, put a spill on the WNBA and NBA and win championships. Speaking of spell, can you spell Shohei Otani?
Actually, I think I can come pretty close. It's and not to like, don't get me wrong, you're probably like still way better at English than I am, but I believe it's Shohei Ohtani. So
Yeah,
it's S H
and that's
O.
Japanese, bro.
Yeah, SHO. Is it EI? It's one of the two. It's either EI or IE, and then Owatani is OHANTI.
The question was very rhetorical, but I appreciate you answering. Uh,
Those are the best kind of
the man,
questions. Like, I'm good at
I
those.
saw, I saw a headline that said it was the great. Today was the greatest performance in baseball history, or the greatest day in baseball history, or something. Because this man Shohei Otani, 50 home runs, 50 stolen bases, first time ever. Ever. Do y'all know how long Major League Baseball has been around? Nobody has
Like
done it.
200 years.
Nobody has done it. And he quietly, casually cooked this season. The first 50-run home run season since last year. Didn't somebody have 50 last year
I'll,
too?
I'll be honest, I'm not
Anyway,
sure, but
but
if
never mind.
yeah,
Like, the man is, he's everything that we always said he was. And I'm not. I think the Dodgers are heading to the postseason. They better be heading to the postseason. But I can't. Even though it's going. I can't root for them, bro. I just can't see myself ever rooting for the Dodgers unless they're playing the Yankees. But it's going to be fun to watch my guy in the postseason for once. I'm excited. I'm actually going to watch baseball postseason. But what are your thoughts on not only the historical season, but just my man Shohei Ohtani in general? Because I think there's more that happened today too regarding him.
well, I just know about the 50-50 thing, and what I think is pretty amazing is
Oh
uh,
yeah, 6 RBIs. I'm sorry, 3 home runs, 6 RBIs today.
and you put him, you look at, he was doing stuff like this in LA, but now
The
he's
other LA.
yeah, excuse me, thank you, the Angels in the outfield. Shout out to that Disney movie. It's got some stars: Christopher Lloyd, Joseph Gordon-Levitt,
Oh
Matthew
yeah, I
McConaughey,
love
Danny
that
Glover.
movie.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, it could happen. But he leaves, and I mean, look, hey, I think a lot of people could leave and go to the Dodgers and look a lot better than if they were playing with the Angels. But now he's playing with some other guys. There's not pressure on him to be the man, and he's flourishing. And the crazy thing is, he's insanely valuable to them, and it's obvious, right? 50 home runs, 50 stolen bases. What happens once his arm or shoulder or hand or whatever it is gets better and he goes back to pitching? I mean, to be honest, if he's making this much money and he's just basically being a DH, he could just keep doing that. Or maybe his arm gets better and then he's lights out and he's like the first like $1 billion contract athlete. How crazy is that?
Hmm.
And what's even crazier is you look at what he's doing, and he's doing this uh, in a post steroid era where everything is scrutinized, and he had the whole gambling thing going on. Hey, all these home runs and stolen bases kind of starting to make that go away, ain't it? And then you look in the other big media market in New York. Soto and Judge each have 40 home runs. That's the first time since Rogers and Maris.
Really?
I mean, no. His name is Roger Maris. Excuse me, Maris and Mantle. That whole 61 thing, where a lot of people didn't like Roger Maris because he was sort of a quiet guy. He wasn't really like a New York it kind of guy, and Mickey Mantle was. And the two ended up having a great run where both of them were hitting home runs left and right. And now you got a guy like Juan Soto helped bring a championship to DC. Shout out. You got a guy like Aaron Judge who makes holding a baseball bat look like me holding a toothpick. You got these two guys just knocking balls out of the park left and right. So it's great for baseball, just for those things to go on in those markets specifically too, because when those areas
Yeah.
well, it's just good for the sport all around. And just to throw something out there too, the Dodgers have clinched a playoff berth. 91 wins, 62 losses as it stands right now. I think there's roughly like 5 to 6 more games left. I'm not sure. I'll tell you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, about 10, it looks like. Um, and even more so, speaking of baseball, the Nationals are up 6-5, end of the sixth over the Cubbies. So
Yeah. I
there's
got tagged on a post about the Met series. We got outscored 22
oh,
to
we got
2.
whooped. I'm
I
seeing
didn't even know
people
we
with
were
that
playing the
OG
Mets.
poster all the time. Like
Huh?
it's like this, like sort of, I don't know what to call it because I don't want when I say it like this, but that sort of like it's like club music, but it's like sort of like Spanish kind of mixed with like pop. There's this
What,
guy.
like reggaeton?
It's not quite reggaeton. It's just like a dude who's Spanish, like singing, but like it's like poppy and whatever. And it's the lyrics are, "Oh my god, na, 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 oh my god," and that's the whole song. And they play it after every time the Mets win, and you see these people in the crowd with
Oh,
the
the
OMG
Mets
thing.
player. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's his song.
Oh, that's a Mets player that did that. I thought that was just some
Yeah.
artist.
Nah, it's a
I didn't know
Mets
it was a guy
player
that
that
plays for him. I thought it was like a, one of those guys. You know what I mean? Like, I
nah.
don't know, whatever artist. I don't know anything anymore. Like I would
You
say,
mean
like,
a
oh, is that Rick
musician?
Rubin? Is that Drake? Like,
Said one of those guys. You mean a musician?
well, absolutely, Mike. But I don't know what to call. Everybody's got some new sort of title now. You know,
But yeah, I can't remember his name, but like he performed it after the game one night and everything. Like it's crazy. I was like only in 2020, it was
man.
2024, bro. But yeah, shout out to Otani, not the Dodgers. Screw them. Unless y'all playing the Yankees, so screw them too. Since I mentioned them
From the
twice.
DC, Otani. Princess
Shout
is
out to
going
the
with you. That
shout
would
out to
never
the
happen.
O's. Let me check and see just to make sure that I'm shouting them out for doing something good. Uh oh. I don't think they're making the playoffs this year. Oh man,
They're in the
I
lead
just
for the
knew.
wild card in the
Oh,
American.
okay, cool. Nah, cause I thought other teams may have had more than 85 wins because I was only looking at the ALE schedule.
They got at
All
least
right then. Nah,
two
shout out to the
games
O's.
on
Shout
Kansas
out
City.
to the O's then, man. They
They're at
look
plus
like they're going
5.
back to the postseason again. So yeah, that's cool. Shout out to the Indians. I guess the name, well, not the name. I'm sorry, not the Indians,
Guardians,
the
Mike.
Guardians. Shout out to the Guardians. I guess the name change doing them some good. Hopefully the Mandos can join them soon. But yeah, it's gonna be an interesting playoffs. I have no predictions on any of it.
None whatsoever.
Except for I don't want the Yankees to win. As long as the
I
Yankees
don't think
don't
you
win
have
the
to worry
World
about
Series, it's always a good year for me.
typically in baseball, you need good pitching, and the Yankees have a little bit of it, but I don't know that they have enough. They certainly have the bats, but I don't know. I don't know. Let's look at that. Who's the while we're here? Let's look at who is the best team in baseball. Let's go.
And after that, we'll end the show with our game picks.
Uh, looks like Philly, then the Dodgers, then the Yankees, then the Brewers, then Cleveland.
Oh, what
That's.
you looking at? Favorites?
I'm just looking at who's got the best records and doing the best overall, like in
Oh,
baseball. Philly's number one because they have one less loss than the Dodgers. The Dodgers have uh, the Dodgers and the Phillies have two more wins than the Yankees, three less losses for the Phillies, and two less losses for the Dodgers. Then after the Yankees is the Brewers, the Guardians, the Padres, the Orioles, 85 wins. So they're doing pretty good. They just happen to be in the same division as the Yankees. That's it. So that's that. But back to the foosball.
um, I think the Jets are going to pull away from the Patriots. It's 14-3 right now. I just feel like the Patriots don't have no offense. The Jets defense is starting to feel themselves a little bit. So
Yeah.
I think the
Halftime
Jets
New
might
York.
pull this one off. Huh?
It's halftime right now, but yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
That's what I said. Like, I know it's halftime, but I think the Jets pulling this one off. Last week's opponent is going up to the west a little bit to Cleveland to face the Browns. It's the Giants at Browns. You picking the Giants?
I am picking the Cleveland Browns. They're going to get themselves on track. Miles Garrett is going to obliterate Daniel Jones.
Mm-hmm. Um, Maybe the second biggest game of the week. Eagles at New Orleans to face the Saints. Um, it's easy to pick the Saints in this game, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do.
Mm,
Especially if AJ Brown is out, I just feel like that's the Eagles' entire offensive strategy, and what New Orleans has going for them right now. That secondary for Philly is not coming together as fast as people would like. So uh, I feel like it's easy to pick the Saints, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do.
I'm going Philadelphia, city
Really.
of brotherly love and cheesesteaks and fans who would heckle at a dog show or a children's dance recital. That's what I'm going with. They got embarrassed at home. I think they have a bad taste in their mouth. Pause. Now unpause. They're going to go out there. I think. I think too. Don't get me wrong. We're only 2 games in, and I'm not saying that this is an outlier for the Saints because now it's 2 weeks in a row. So that's starting to show some level of consistency, coming out, putting up points, playing tough. But I could see this being a game where Philly comes out pissed. They're like, you know what? Let's get our act together. So I'm gonna go Philly, just cause I mean, we can't pick the same ones all the time. I obviously would love to see New Orleans steamroll Philadelphia. I don't want any of our division opponents to win any games, especially not against us. But I don't want them to win at all. So yeah, I'm rooting that I'm wrong, but I'm gonna go opposite.
This Texans Vikings game probably going to be interesting. I'm gonna go with Minnesota though, since they're at home.
I'm going to pick opposite of you again, but I'm just going to go flat out. Stephon Diggs is on my fantasy team, and I feel like if he plays well, the Texans will probably win. I also think same thing with what I was saying with New Orleans. Don't get me wrong, the Sam Darnold feel good story is great. I was really not feeling that 97-yard touchdown he threw to Justin Jefferson because it was awesome, but the guy I was playing had Justin Jefferson in fantasy, so that wasn't awesome. So yeah, good for Sam
Mm-hmm.
Darnold, but he comes crashing back down to earth. Texans are they're built different. They're doing something special, and Minnesota. I think, like I said last week, and I didn't think they'd get the win, but they did. I told you they were going to come out and play San Francisco real tough, and that's what they did. But they played them, too tough, and they won and made me look wrong. But
Too
this
tough,
week,
too turn.
this week,
Um, I got the Bucks easily taking out Denver. 1 o'clock game to West team traveling west. Y'all know my theory.
Wait, West team travel. So they're going to Tampa. It's in
Mm-hmm.
Tampa. Okay, yeah, definitely Tampa. Definitely, it's in Tampa. Who
Uh,
knows what kind of muggy weather it'll be down there with that heat and humidity. I mean, I know it's September now, but still.
Packers at Titans. Love might be playing in that game. I kind of don't think it matters. I got Green Bay taking them out regardless.
I'm going same with you. I even if Malik Willis plays and they try to play up that whole thing, now he gets to play the Titans. I think they're good and bad all at the same time. You got Ridley and D Hop, making plays for him, but then you got Will Levis just like handing the ball to the other team at times. Yeah, who knows, man? I don't know. But Green Bay, definitely agree with you.
Bears at Colts.
Hmm. At Colts. I'm going to go with the Colts get a dub. I'm going to go with them figuring it out. They got a pretty solid squad. Um, I think Richardson, I get it. He's a beast and he can run the ball. I think he's got to throw a little bit more. Got to use Pittman. He's got some, Alec Pierce, and I think the guy's named Downs or Down. He's got that guy as well who can make plays. Got to get those guys the ball. Goodness, I can't talk.
Um, yeah, I'm gonna go with the Colts too.
I mean, why
Man,
not? I could see this game going either way, but I feel like everybody wants to pick the Bears now because Caleb Williams and Moore and Keenan Allen and all that stuff that they're doing, which is great. Good for them. It would be
it
nice to
might
see
be.
Bears get good again too. Like I said, all those teams, especially the ones in like a small city or a big media market, and I know only so many teams can be good, but if a lot of those teams would get good and get some championships here and there, I think it'd be great for the league and the game overall. But us first, Commanders first.
Um, I feel like I'll make this like a lock of the week for me,
Ooh,
but I definitely think the Steelers taking out the Chargers. I just feel
he's
like
like
the Chargers are in a similar situation as Washington. They'll be good next year, but this year not so much, especially early in the season. They just got some seasoning they have to do. But like I said, week 3 in Pittsburgh, nah.
yeah, we needed right as you started to say lock for like the like the lock like vault kind of sound to come up. That would be dope. But yeah, I tend to agree. I'm going to throw it out there too. I think Herbert is dealing with some sort of ankle injury. If I'm not mistaken, it was kind of thought that he would miss the first couple of games with some sort of plantar fasciitis as well. So, that's not a good combo. That doesn't sound like a good time, especially for a team that's mostly running the ball as it is. Now, I don't even know who the backup is in San Diego, but if you're not throwing
It's
that much,
Heineke.
holy cow.
They traded for him before the season.
If But still, all right, think about this. If you're not throwing that much with Herbert, how much are you going to throw with Heineke? And I get that, like, that in a roundabout way is his strong suit, is to call run plays and let him just scramble around like a toddler who stole your cell phone. But yeah, I'm going. Who are they playing again? Who's the Steelers? Yeah, Steelers.
Hmm.
Steelers are taking that dub. That defense is going to just yeah. Although the Harbaugh effect, I feel like he has a way of like getting guys fired up for these kind of games and surprising people. But I'm gonna go Steelers. First instinct.
Uh, Dolphins at Seahawks.
I'm gonna go Dolphins. I think they edge it out. I think Seattle is starting to build something, but I don't think they're quite there yet. I think they also seem to be injured across the board with their top several receivers with Metcalf, Lockett, and Smith and Jigba. I think
Mm.
all three of those guys are dealing with something. Not to mention they're already missing Kenneth Walker. Uh, yeah, I mean, the new head coach seems like he's kind of, I don't want to say quietly because people are noticing, I think, but he's starting to kind of raise some eyebrows with what he's doing with the defense. But I don't I think Miami just has too much of a team that's already kind of built. And even though he's not Tua, the Skylar Thompson guy has shown some promise. He's been with them before, had the I think 30-point playoff game performance rather against Buffalo in the playoffs. So there's that. We'll see if that translates to anything in the upcoming weeks once the whole Tua thing gets figured out. Which man, that's scary. Really hope that whatever it is, he can be okay.
Yeah. I got the Seahawks. Just
Okay,
feel like they're
good.
at home, and yeah, they're probably
It's good.
just as together as Miami
Okay.
is when it comes to continuity and all that other stuff. So
Okay.
I'm gonna roll with Seattle.
Yeah. Wish
Uh,
ones. That's good.
I so got the Raiders choking this Sunday to the Panthers in Las Vegas. I know it might sound wild, but I don't know. Sometimes you put a vet at quarterback and it does kind of stabilize things. And I think they might catch Oakland coming off of that high with beating the Ravens this past Sunday, bro.
Yeah. How? I mean, I don't want to make it a big long thing, but um, I kind of mostly view this with the Bryce Young thing. Most people are like it's only 2 weeks in, but this is a new regime, and they're kind of almost in a roundabout way, like, hey, look, we are not married to this kid. We didn't pick him. We're coming in here. We want our guys. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Is the game in Vegas?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm going Raiders. Going Raiders.
Uh, hmm. 49ers at Rams. I'll take the Niners. Just I know they're banged up like a lot of people. Debo not playing, McCaffrey not playing. George Kittle was on the injury report.
Hamstring
Um,
tightness.
so yeah, but that defense is still kicking, and the Rams themselves are missing a lot of people. Cup won't be playing, and this sucks. I just made a trade for him, and he got injured in the first half. It was crazy. Um, yeah, 49ers kind of comfortably, if you ask me.
Yeah, so the 49ers are banged up, but if you notice, you didn't mention Nick Bosa, you didn't mention Javon Hargrave, you didn't mention any of these defensive players that were just absolute problems, even in the loss to Minnesota, and certainly in the week 1 game against the Jets the week before. So yeah, I'm going Niners as well. I think even with the guys out, Jordan Mason's shown an ability to run the ball. You still got Ayuk. You still got, I believe the guy's name is Jawan Jennings, who made a lot of plays in the Super Bowl. Just good size receiver, big target, athlete. Yeah, they got talent, and Kyle Shanahan is a wizard over there, just doing all kinds of crazy stuff. What'll be interesting to see, and I don't know how much of this he'll be involved in, but he is the head coach. Is McVay coming from that tree? If he is maybe spending a little more time than usual with the defense on like things to look for, based on the familiarity of a similar kind of offense, or coming from that offensive coaching tree, like I just mentioned. But yeah, Niners.
Uh, Lions at Cardinals. Ah, the Cardinals, bro, they're just too explosive. They just got too many weapons, I feel like. And they're going to catch the Lions sleeping. Um, and I don't even know if it's catching them sleeping because Kyler Murray been cooking since he been in the league, low key, especially before Call of Duty. And when it's not a double XP weekend. So I think I'm going to go with the Cards, bro. If the game was in Detroit, I probably would pick the Lions.
Fair enough. I am going to go with the Lions, despite Amon-Ra St. Brown being injured, which definitely big blow to them. They still got Montgomery and Gibbs. They still got Laporta. They still got my man, Jameson Williams, who's having a pretty good season so far, making plays. Um, yeah, and they got a coach, like I said, that puts those guys in a position to win. Passionate coach, a football guy. He's going to have that team fired up. They're ready to run through a brick wall for him every single day. They're going to go out there and they're going to mollywop the Cardinals. You watch.
I said the Eagles Saints was probably the second game of the week because I feel like this would be number one game of the week.
I know what you're about to say.
Um, Ravens heading to Dallas. We only get this game every so often. Ravens at Cowboys, 425, probably on Fox. Tom Brady on the call, most likely. Um, whew, if you told me before the season that I would have to decide if the Cowboys are going to be 1-2 or if the Ravens would be 0-3, I'd ask you, are you crazy? Are you crazy, bro? Are you mad? But that's exactly the situation we find ourselves in. As of now, I still don't know who I would pick. But I guess if you put a GUN to my head, um, I'll go with who I think is the better team, and that's Baltimore. And their game kind of travels, and Lamar going to want to put on a show for everybody playing, especially against the Cowboys. And let's face it, Cowboys got their doors blown off last week at home to the Saints. So they could be ripe for the picking. But nevertheless, I want to know who's favorite in this game. But I'm going to roll with the Ravens. And I'm not sure if that's an upset or not. But it wouldn't surprise me if they are not favorite. Let me see.
Uh, Baltimore is favored -1.5.
Yeah, let's see. Um, yeah, and I feel like that's the right decision by Vegas to favor Baltimore. Um, Dallas defense was really like struggling last week, arguing on the sideline and everything. Mike Summer isn't the most cool coach in the world, so I don't know. Lamar get the showing off on the first quarter. You never know, bro.
Yeah, it definitely obviously with the 0-2 thing makes it certainly interesting. There's a certain level of pressure there, and Dallas is at home on top of that. So I think this is going to be really telling, uh, just for the whole season. That like this early on pressure cooker moment, and you factor in some of the things like Dak and CD Lamb with their contract issues. Jerry Jones making kind of some weird statements that I guess are supposed to kind of be funny about how, like, well, they don't play well at the end of the season, so now they're just doing it at the beginning of the season and blah blah blah. Whatever kind of nonsense that is. Uh, and then, now you have Micah Parsons who's saying, "Hey, I don't think everybody was really giving their full effort this past weekend when the Saints scored all those points on them." Not to mention, I mean, just no disrespect to Rashid Shaheed, I think is how you say his name. That guy's fast as can be. But the Saints just got worked. I mean, the Cowboys just got worked. He just ran by them. I'm not saying like, oh, it's that easy to stop him. Like, hey, just don't let him run by you. But there were two of them, and he ran right
All
by.
I'm gonna say is they hit Shaheed on the same play the week before. It
Exactly.
could be their thing.
But that's my point too, though. Like, there's got to be some level of film study. I mean, look, I know Dan Quinn left. I know he brought Witt with him, and made what Igbanani, but they still got Diggs. They still got Micah Parsons. They got a number of guys on that team. Like, I don't understand. So I think you put all that together, and I mean, maybe they come out fired up and they play well, but I could also see if, like you said, let Lamar break one open, let a big play happen, Baltimore gets up. You might see Dallas put their heads down and this thing sort of kind of, steamroll into like a lopsided loss. I mean, obviously that's what I would hope for, but who knows? Maybe it'll turn into be like a great game because Baltimore seems to be giving up points despite being kind of known as like a tough defensive team. But hey, maybe they fix that too. Maybe they make the adjustment. That's my thoughts. Baltimore.
We're on to the last three games, all prime time, baby, all prime time. And shout out to prime time, Jay, my brother. Um, Chiefs at Falcons on Sunday Night Football. Mahomes in the dome, can't go against them. Chiefs, I wouldn't say I'm a laughter. I mean, a laugher because I think Atlanta can score some points, but I think they win comfortably. I think you'll be going to sleep in the third quarter knowing who's winning when you wake up Monday morning.
Yeah, I think it'll be an entertaining game. I think, like you said, there'll be some touchdowns scored, fair amount of points for sure. Um, I think it might be just a little bit closer, but Chiefs.
So initially, I thought this was the better of the two Monday Night Football games with Josh Allen, my man Curtis Samuel, Mr. Coat to Keon Coleman, and I believe his name is Khalil Shakir or Kahil Shakir.
I think it's
I can't
Khalil.
remember. Um, and the Buffalo Bills. They are hosting Trevor Lawrence Stadium. What was it? Trevor Lawrence Bank Stadium or something the Jaguars tried to do this week that blew up in their face. But Jaguars at Bills, first of the double hitter on Monday Night Football. Um, Bills with a comfortable W. I just feel like Josh Allen is in his zone right now. My coworkers were getting on me because I said I think he's better than Lamar Jackson, or that I would take him over Lamar Jackson if I was building a team. Like, you just don't get quarterbacks like either one of them, honestly. But Josh Allen, he just has all the tools. He could scramble like Jackson, but he can throw like Mahomes. He could run you over like Cam Newton, but he could outrun you like Vic. So like he can do everything that any quarterback in the league has ever done before. He can do it. And I think he's going to do it a lot to the Jaguars on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, and it just seems like, and I don't know for what the reason is. You would think it'd be the opposite because once Doug Peterson went there, you kind of got the idea that like, oh, whatever he was, got going in Philly, he's gonna get that going in Jacksonville, and it seemed to be happening that way. They signed Christian Kirk, he's making some plays. Evan Ingram, pick him up. All of a sudden, he's starting to become what people thought he would have been for the Giants. Etienne is starting to kind of feel where his position and his sort of lane as like being an every down back, but kind of the way they use him to make him an every down back by throwing to him just as much as running and getting him in space. So he's maybe a little less at risk for those big hits. Which I don't want to backtrack too much, but for the people talking shit on Jaden Daniels running, he took just as many big hits in the pocket as he did running. I just want to throw that out there. Anyway, back to Etienne and the Jaguars. They just don't seem to have what they had last year and the year before, like what they were building with Doug Peterson. Having said that, this could be sort of like a reverse trap game. I know Buffalo's at home, so that doesn't make sense. And, yeah, what you said, Josh Allen being like some sort of football Paul Bunyan, just running over people and just being larger than life. They don't really have like a big time guy they want to throw. Kincaid and Knox, they're tight ends, but Coleman, Shakur, like they don't have like a big time throwing game. So if you can stop the run, you stop James Cook, you stop Josh Allen, which, hey, not an easy thing to do. Just want to throw that part out there as I'm saying this so flippantly. Uh, then yeah, I think the Jaguars might kind of surprise some people. I'm gonna go Jags just off of some random, catch the Bills liking the smell of their own farts a little too much. Too many bodies going through tables over there. Yeah.
And finally, we end with the last game of the week. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and the Cincinnati Bengals, as some like to refer to them as, hosting our boys from the DMV. Jay and Daniels, Brian Robinson, whose name we just said for the first time this episode after a 130-yard rushing game. Tisk tisk. Austin Eckler, Terry McLaurin, Zach Ertz, John Allen, Deron Payne, Sean Martin, Juice, Lou Wagner, the Commanders. It's like, no.
Those are names. Those are names.
But no, it should be a good game, and I'm gonna go with the Bengals 37, Commanders 20. I'm sorry, Bengals 36, Commanders 27. Like I said, I think they're going to be able to move the ball on Cincinnati and score some points. Just feel like the Bengals are going to be able to move the ball more and score more points. Better coach. I mean, not better coach. My apologies. Sorry, Dan Quinn. Please forgive me. Better quarterback. More experienced quarterback, more experienced team, more continuity in the coaching staff, more continuity on the team with the players. I'm sorry. And yeah, I just feel like at home, they're 0-2 too as well, like Baltimore. Neither team wants to be 0-3, especially in that division with the Steelers doing what they're doing right now. They can't afford to lose. We can. So that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm going to go Washington 28, Cincinnati 21. I'm going to go with the dub. The scenario we were talking about earlier, we pretty much have willed it to existence. We're going to go down there. We're going to do both of yours and mine, both of ours, excuse me, Madden strategy. We're going to kick it to them so that we get the ball at halftime. But before halftime, we're going to stop them, then get maybe a little 10, 13-point lead. We're going to start to run the ball, perhaps some dink and dunks here. We're going to apply more pressure. All of a sudden, they're at home. And, yeah, that's what it is, what it do. No who day. It's going to be hail, left hand up. My man Terry might have a nice little breakout game. That would be marvelous. That's what I'd love to see.
But yeah, we going to the fake Queen City, but leaving with a real W. And yeah, that's all I got for this week, bro.
Same. Obviously we'd like to win, but I think what we want to see is that team that came out in the second half to come out right from the get-go. We want to see, can you maybe fix some of those problems you had, whether it's the false start or the cadence that was causing the problems offensively, maybe, less of these right up the middle design runs for Jaden. Maybe sprinkle in just a little more of those screens to Eckler, and let's see some more Noah Brown.
Yeah,
He made plays. Let's see some more of him.
for sure. All right, Bahamas. I'll let y'all Bahamas next week. We out this hoop.
Good night. Good morning.